Me, I guess.
Yeah, you.
All right. Hey, welcome to Take It or Break It. We're recording off a phone today because I don't know, just look, sorry not every episode sounds like the rite of spring. I put significantly more effort into audio than most hosts. Anyway, I'm here with Spike Friedman.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, we're here in person in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
Sunny Atwater Village.
I just got back from a hike to the observatory where I saw a picture of James Dean.
Yeah.
And some other things.
He shot a movie there. Didn't die there? I don't think he died
so.
somewhere else.
No. I mean, he did die, Nah, that joke's not going to work.
What was it?
It was going to be like... Well, the observatory is kind of a synecdoche of the universe.
Uh-huh.
He's a view of the universe, and he did die in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
It makes sense. I just wouldn't qualify it as a joke.
Yeah, no. It's not, good.
It's like a thought.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a thought.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Look, I might be a little roasty toasty. Spike just made me some wonderful kale eggs. What a gentleman this guy is.
I forgot Corbin was a vegetarian. I was making myself brunch. I was making myself vegetarian brunch.
Uh-huh.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
60-40.
Yeah. What are you like a big sausage boy?
I would sometimes grind up some sausage into some
Okay.
eggs or something.
All right. We're also here with Edgar. Edgar, say hello. All right. And the cat. I forgot the cat's name already.
Cleo.
I know Edgar's name because Edgar is named after
Edgar Martinez.
Edgar Martinez, the famous baseball pitcher.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait,
definitely not.
Designated hitter.
Yeah, there it is.
Is your next dog going to be named Felix?
Ooh, Felix the dog?
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Or Suzuki?
Suzuki's good.
Ooh, Suzuki's a good name for a dog.
Suzuki's a really good name. It's good because it works on levels.
Yeah.
Because, motorcycles.
Yeah.
ATVs.
Uh-huh.
Piano technique. Uh-huh. There's a theater school.
Yeah, but really it's about the king.
Yeah.
You know what?
The greatest.
We're here to talk about something very specific and actually weirdly serious. But before we do, I want to ask you, Ichiro retired. How did you feel?
It was time. Like,
well, I mean,
but
yeah.
He's the greatest, and it's just, I feel like there was a fragility to Ichiro coming to the Mariners when it first happened in 2001. It was like, is this going to work out or whatever?
Yeah.
And then, it couldn't have worked better for, 18 years.
Yeah.
We got, 18 years of Ichiro. What a blessed world to have that.
Yeah.
And, a cursed world for, almost everything else. But specifically getting Ichiro for 18 years is just, the greatest. That's so good.
Just, the coolest athlete?
Maybe. Yeah,
I mean, since, I don't know, Babe Ruth, I guess.
I score the Babe Ruth.
I mean, I kind of like that there was a big fat drunk guy who socked a bunch of dingers. I hope you don't mind.
No, that's
pretty fucking cool.
It's good. Well,
but I guess Ichiro was a baseball warrior who had a lining up to murder you routine.
It's so good. He's got the classic quote on Cleveland, and I'm going, which is if someone asked him if he was excited. There was a rain out in Cleveland. They had to go back to Cleveland. They asked him if he was excited to play a doubleheader in Cleveland. He's like, no one's ever excited to go to Cleveland. If I ever saw myself saying that I was excited to go to Cleveland, I would punch myself in the face because I was lying. Which, the first part was a paraphrase, the last part is 100% the direct quote. And that's so...
It's sort of incredible that he would only do it because he was lying, though.
Yeah. Also, I'm planning to go to Cleveland next year. I was maybe going to go this year, because I'm a roller coaster boy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do know you're a roller coaster boy.
Yeah, since we last talked, I went to Shanghai Disneyland.
Uh-huh. Oh.
Yeah, buddy. They've got a Tron roller coaster.
They don't have laws there, baby.
Oh yeah, those. There's some videos of some Chinese roller coasters that are kind of shady, but they just have
there's some videos of Chinese. I need to know everything about these shady Chinese roller coasters.
Well, so currently in China, China is monopolizing the good roller coaster construction sort of globally. They've sort of cornered the market on.
Yo,
VMs.
that's some real. This used to be a great country shit right there.
Yeah, we still get some good ones, but they do a really great job there. But for a while,
because they care about civic institutions.
Hell yeah,
they also build more high speed rail. Like it's high speed rail and roller coasters.
I was on the subway. The subway in Shanghai, like they add a new line every 18 months.
Yeah, because they give a shit. Oh, sorry. China's starting to drive me crazy.
It's good. Well,
just because like 80% of it is just we care. I mean, look, there's other heinous things about China, but like
I was there, so I spent like some time in Shanghai doing like some work with my graduate program, and I wasn't charmed. I'll say that. Like, but the infrastructure is incredible. The housing production is incredible. The cost of that is like. It's like gentrification isn't even the word for it. Like, because it isn't that. It's just like where you live at any moment could be redeveloped, and that's just like the deal.
Yeah, it's like South Bend, Indiana.
My boy Pete.
Yeah, Big Pete.
Big Pete. Anyway, Tron roller coaster, launched roller coaster, 60 miles an hour. You're on it like a bike. Anyway, and the videos. So, for a while, China was just stealing blueprints of other roller coaster manufacturers.
Legendary country.
Specifically, they were stealing the Vekoma SLC blueprint. Mm-hmm. To those of you in Northern California might know the roller coaster Kong. I believe it's real bad.
Is it at Universal?
No, it's at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Okay. They made a bad roller coaster. China made a copy of a copy, basically multiplicity style. And you can watch the video, and it's very important for a roller coaster. Most roller coasters have 2 tracks going, and the wheels are on them. It's very important they're at the same level, because like any bouncing, and you can just see like throughout this copy of a copy, just like it's like half an inch off. But like that's a big swing if you're going 60 miles an hour. To just be like bumpity bump and just seeing like every single head on the car in like slow motion going whiplash. It's not great. Tron roller coaster is incredible. Again, you're launched like you're on a bike. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride, Shanghai Disneyland, not a roller coaster, but magic. Maybe the greatest theme park ride in the world. And I've been on a lot of them at this point.
Teacup ride.
Their teacup ride is a Winnie the Pooh honey pot.
Oh, that's fun. I don't care. That's fun.
It's cute.
I don't care that it's off brand,
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Alice in Wonderland's the teacups here. It doesn't Winnie the Pooh, Alice in Wonderland. They're both
Winnie the Pooh. Alice in the Wonderland.
It's all IP, baby. It's
IP.
It's all.
Did they change Star Tours?
Yeah.
What is it now?
Are we going to get into this? This is going to be the whole podcast. So
okay, this is the last roller coaster thing.
So Star Tours, original Star Tours, you have Rex. You like do the trench run,
of course. Yeah.
Corbin's wandering away because he knows.
I'm just getting my water.
No, he's right. Star Tours: The Adventure Continues. That's the Star Tours that is currently running. You get a different path each time. Instead of having Rex as your co-pilot, you have C-3PO. They have like the current actors.
That guy.
Well, it's like fine. It's all in 3D now. Lost a little charm. It's like better, but like I don't love it. But Rex. So, and also you lose Rex, and he's like, "It's my first day on the job. Oh no!" Great, classic, great. I think I've mentioned that I love podcast The Ride on this podcast before, and one of their hosts says Rex is his favorite character in fiction, which fair, totally fair. And for those of you who are aware, Disneyland is opening up Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, a full new 14-acre expansion.
Thank God.
2 e-ticket Star Wars rides in it. Neither of which is Star Tours. One is a
e-ticket.
E-ticket,
like you have to get a reservation.
Well, you do have to. I have a reservation. Don't worry about that.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I didn't.
No, it's just like they used to have ticket levels at Disneyland. It's not important. They're great rides. One is a Millennium Falcon simulator. One is even crazier.
Is there like is the Millennium Falcon simulator? Can you like go in the back and smoke a little?
Yeah. You smoke some weed, and then it's like and they also have a cantina in the new Star Wars land. And who's the DJ at the cantina? DJ Rex. Voiced by, and who was the original voice of Rex? Paul Rubens.
Oh, you know what? I actually did kind of know that.
And he's doing the voice, so there's going to be... And it's the only place in Disneyland proper where you can get alcohol.
Oh, hell
they have
yeah.
alcoholic blue milk.
Yeah,
high five to it.
I don't like that they made the blue milk alcohol.
Well, you can get a non-alcoholic, too.
Oh,
for the kids. For the kids and for the Corbs.
Yeah, because famous teetotaler over
here.
here.
Yeah. So that's... we can be done with that.
Okay. Thank God.
It's rough.
I can't think of an athlete cooler than Ichiro.
No.
I'm trying to go decade by decade. 80s, no.
No. Yeah, because like what? Tim Raines was pretty cool, but
Nah.
Yeah.
But he's not fucking Ichiro.
No, it's like crazy. Pete Griffey was very cool, but like didn't last 18 years of coolness.
Yeah. And 70s, no, probably not.
No, all those guys turned out to be like
Corbin. Even like basketball player, like Kareem. I love Kareem, but he's not cooler than Ichiro.
No, that's crazy. No, he's too good at stuff.
Yeah,
like other stuff.
Yeah.
Like he's right because he's like a story editor on Veronica Mars now or something. Like what?
Maybe Bill Russell, but like not really.
Like I've seen Bill Russell and Ichiro in the same place because they're both Seattle boys.
Oh yeah.
No.
Nobody's like, oh, it's Bill Russell, baby.
Yeah, there's the mystique.
He did call Boston a flea market of racism.
Oh, Bill Russell is great by like compare him to anyone else.
Okay,
and I'm like, yeah, through the roof, great. But like, you can't compare him to Ichiro.
Anyway, speaking of Ichiro, an international athlete, incredible. You hear that? You hear that fucking transition?
Yeah. That was really good.
Thank you. We are here to talk about... Spike hasn't been on the show in a minute.
Yeah.
Because he stopped caring about sports.
Half true. I care about half the sports now.
Yeah. And also because he's off Twitter. And, well, actually, anyway.
I'm occasionally on Twitter. But I'm, like, not...
He's, like, trying to be better at living life and stuff.
God. It's really rough to like dip back in and like look at like click once. Like I can dip back in and like look at my timeline and I'm like, oh, I get why I used to be on this all the time every day. And then I like click like one link and I go to like some like crazy ghoul who's like a Quillette writer.
Oh yeah, the ghoul industry.
It's just like
is incredible.
Oh my God, I don't
I mean, look, I'm like the other day, Will Summer, the Daily Beast writer who writes about the alt-right stuff.
Yeah.
He literally sent a tweet out that was like, I have a new Jacob Wool story. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do that. And that was when I realized how online poisoned I was.
Yeah, I don't want to know. Like, I saw there was...
No, it ended up being really funny.
Was it the Mayor Pete thing?
No, it was after the Mayor Pete thing. Summer did some digging and found out that Jacob Wool was literally just like, hey, let's just like make shit up in a meeting. Let's just make shit up about people. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay, so... Anyway, so sometimes when somebody's not on Twitter, I forget to have them on. But I'm having Spike on right now for a very specific purpose.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about how excited we are for the Los Angeles Olympics.
Jesus.
Holy shit. All of our favorite athletes, gymnasts, weightlifters, they're going to add football.
Are they?
No.
That would be great. That would actually make the Olympics good if we were just like, no, you have to. Every country has to field an 11-man American.
Just like they're just like weeping, crying men.
Yeah,
just like broken men on the sideline.
We just need to be exporting head trauma. Around the globe. Yeah, no.
But okay, we're not talking about how excited we are for the Olympics. We're talking about how they're bad or whatever. So, Spike, you have become involved with a political organization. Tell people about this political organization.
Yeah, so since I've quit Twitter, I've gone back to grad school. I'm doing urban planning.
Yeah. You quit Twitter around that time, like more or less, right? Like,
yeah, like it faded out.
Yeah.
And then I stayed in for a Seahawks season, and then I was like... the second the season ended, I was like, oh, I'm free. I was like, oh, it's so good.
I've started turning my phone off at parties.
That's good.
That's my new trick.
That's
because it's too easy to.
I like to, when someone's talking, just look at Instagram to really tell them that I don't respect them and they're
no, because I'm trying. Yeah, that's as far as I'm going. And
I work in coalition with the No Olympics LA coalition of a bunch of local community groups and political organizations. So DSALA is a part of it. They, in fact, were like the first part of it. But other groups that you probably won't be familiar with if you're not in LA organizing circles around things like housing or immigrants' rights. But it's groups like SAGE, Ground Game, CCDE, K-Town for All, like a bunch of neighborhood organizations and coalitions. And we are standing in opposition to the 2028 LA Olympics. And beyond that, we are starting the process of building a global coalition to oppose the Olympics, which is a broader and harder ask, because it's one thing to say no Olympics in my city. You know, Boston successfully held off the games by pointing at all the reasons the Olympics are bad for Boston, but the Olympics are bad for pretty much any city, especially the way they're currently constructed. If you look in terms of housing impacts, if you look in terms of policing, security state, surveillance expansion, finance, certainly, though that's not the primary issue that we are worried about. You see that just the impact of the games on cities, the question is, how bad is it going to be? And if that's the question, we shouldn't be doing the thing until we can totally change it from the roots.
So, what's my first question?
Yeah.
I don't usually interview people.
That's fine.
I usually just
riff.
Riff with. So, you know what? Okay, let's start with Los Angeles. So LA kind of, I think, has a interesting history of sporting. What do we call it? Infrastructure displacing people.
Yep.
The Dodgers, of course, basically raided Chavez Ravine. Mexican
do you know the whole story of Chavez?
I don't. No, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to get it out of you. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Okay, so the initial evictions in Chavez Ravine were, and this is so interesting to me, they were made by Mayor Fletcher Bowron in the late 1940s.
Very dragon name.
Yeah, Fletcher Bowron.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Fletcher Bowron was a socialist.
Uh-huh.
He was evicting people from Chavez Ravine so that they could redevelop Chavez Ravine as public housing.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the war, this is like right after the war. Then there was a little bit of a white lash. We're familiar with that now in this country. And the city elected C. Norris Paulson to be mayor on a
less cool name.
Terrible person. He was elected, and his platform was no public housing in LA, and in fact passed a resolution at the city level banning the construction of all further public housing in the early 1950s. And as that was happening, about, I want to say like some percentage, I don't know off the top of my head, of the evictions at Chavez Ravine had started, but the promise was you will be able to move back into socialized housing. And then it became pretty clear that that was not going to happen because it became criminalized to build socialist housing in the city. But the evictions continued anyway. And so when you see those images of people like being uprooted from their homes, it was the people who were holding out being like, we don't trust that this is going to happen. And then being like, oh no, this is really not going to happen. But those eviction orders were still in place. So people who were removed by force were removed when it became clear that the government had betrayed them in a lot of ways, and then sells that land to the O'Malleys. It's the O'Malleys, right? No, at the time, I don't.
Ebbets?
Might have been the Ebbets.
No, that's not where they played. That's the Giants Stadium.
Wait. The O'Malleys owned the team later. I think it was the O'Malleys.
Okay, I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. You'll have to pardon me.
But anyway, it was, they sold it to them for like $1. And there were like a lot of court cases at the time, but it was sort of like, yeah, well, you get to do this. And so which is all just to say, like, the key part of that story is like the degree of government betrayal to that community and like why that betrayal happened. which is to say, like, they were promised that in exchange for leaving your homes for a time, you will be given public housing, which at the time was not stigmatized the way it is now. Mm-hmm. It was not defunded the way it is now. Mm-hmm. It was a totally functional way of living.
Yeah,
and
because sometime in the 1960s, one of the parties, it's hard to say which one, but also parts of the other party were like, hey, racism, that shit works.
Right? My God. The racism. It is dope that, like, Richard Nixon's HUD director, do you know who it was? George Romney! Hey, Mitt's dad. That's who's in charge of public housing in America.
Cool.
Just some rich white dude. And Nixon's housing policy was so conservative on public housing that Romney ended up resigning in protest because he's like, we can't go this far in terms of defunding public housing.
And Nixon went,
yeah,
I don't care.
In his second term. He waited till his second term to really do
say what you will about Nixon. He was a man of honor.
Yep. Anyway, so all that said, yeah, LA, absolutely. A really problematic history with stadiums and displacement. And even when you look at something like the Staples Center, which is a piece of infrastructure the city uses, I don't think you can really... You can make the argument that, like, we don't need a basketball arena downtown in the way that any city doesn't, but, like, that's an area that's used by the city to a degree. But there was, like, no displacement for the construction of Staples Center itself. What is great, though, is that there was a ton of, like, rent-stabilized units that were lost in the construction of the Staples Center parking lots. Like, what is happening?
I mean, that's some out of control LA shit, though.
Yeah.
Too, is that it said she'll be home in a little bit. I'll tell you, I saw it.
Okay, cool.
Spike got a text.
Yeah,
from his
fiance.
Oh, the woman to whom he has affiance. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, it was great.
The LA has basically just spent its entire existence fighting tooth and nail against the idea of becoming a public transportation city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain, well, and, like, again, along racial and class lines.
Oh,
like,
of course.
Which is so sick. Oh my God. Yeah. If you look at just the way it creates really interesting conditions right now. If you guys want to think about zoning policy in California, where there's a big push to tie upzoning to the locations of public transit. Upzoning obviously allows more density around transit stations, which from an environmental perspective has some obvious appeal because you could get people out of cars. But when you look at where these properties, where the areas where transit has been allowed to be built in the city, it's around disenfranchised populations, which are mostly poor populations of color. Upzoning raises property values under them, essentially creates conditions where landlords would be foolish not to evict everybody in their building, rebuild it, and then you lose the rent stabilization. So, which is it's a hugely contentious issue at a state level right now. We're in the weeds for a sports podcast.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry.
No, that's cool. I'm interested in it, and there's other parts of California where that stuff is just transformed entire city. You know, like San Francisco is just like not a place where people can live anymore.
Yeah. And like people make the argument the reason they can't live there is because things haven't been built, but like none of these upzoning requirements involve any sorts of requirements around affordability. And assuming that the market's going to trickle down.
Yeah.
Don't assume that.
Yeah.
Housing markets are segmented.
Jeff?
Come on. Why are the Olympics related to this though? It's probably
what we're getting around to is that Los Angeles has a noted history of sports development rat fucking people. And yet
well, I would say like and continuing that.
Because they've hosted Olympics before too.
Yeah.
Two
Olympics.
Okay,
before.
so
this is
you know
number
what?
3.
Let's go chronological. What was the first Olympics?
1932. Yeah, I don't know as much about the
that
impact on the city in 1932 from the Olympic Games. If I'm honest, that's when the Coliseum was built.
The Forum or the
Coliseum where USC plays football.
Okay. you assume somebody got exploited.
It's a pre-Hitler Olympic Games. I mean, yeah, if you look at the history...
Is that right before Hitler Olympic Games? Or
Yeah, it's the one before.
Yeah, because 36 was the Hitler one.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever watched that movie?
Which movie?
The Riefenstahl movie about the Olympics?
Yeah. Olympia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Anyway, it's on the Criterion service.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll probably do it for the show sometime.
With Wilms?
Maybe that might be a Raposa thing.
Okay.
But
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So there... Yeah, I actually was digging into some research on the 32 games. There just isn't as much. That said, at the time, LA dealing with rapid growth, but there's still a lot of land available in 1932.
Yeah. Big city.
Yeah, big city. Also, already one of the largest prison populations in the country. Course. Which LA, I believe. LA, number one prison population in the world.
Hell yeah, we did it, baby.
For any city.
Hell yeah.
LA is a city of 4.8 million in the city, 10 million in the county, and the largest prison population of any city.
How big is the prison population?
Huge. I don't know off the top of my head. We're recording on my phone, so I can't quickly look it up.
Of course.
We are number one.
You can look it up.
We are the carceral
You know what?
capital.
I know that when you listen to a podcast, you want all the work fucking done for you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We are the carceral capital of the globe. Which brings us to 1984.
Okay, so 1984.
So
World War II happens.
World War II happens.
Chavez Ravine happens.
The Vietnam War.
The Vietnam War.
Hippies.
Hair.
The musical Hair is released.
Company.
Sondheim is at his peak.
Company. That's in the Company, right?
Jesus. Yeah.
Sweeney Todd. Oh no, Sweeney Todd actually hasn't come out yet.
Is it? Yeah.
I think Sweeney Todd's later 80s.
Right around there.
Yeah. You know, the
Sweeney Todd is being workshopped.
Yeah, but right now, Sunday in the Park with George has come out. But if I recall, it flopped.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it shouldn't have.
I know. Well, yeah, because it's a masterpiece.
It's been revived many times.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
84.
Steve Reich. Okay, it is. I'm sorry. 1984. They do an Olympics in Los Angeles.
They do an Olympics in Los Angeles, and it is the last "quote unquote" profitable Olympics, which is trumpeted by the city in the current efforts. A couple things on that. One,
Jesus. Really? That's what they're rolling out?
100%.
Oh, the last one was profitable.
Yes. First of all, profitable for whom? The LA84 Foundation they fund youth sports in the city to the tune of like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like swimming.
Oh wow, not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm against you now.
We shouldn't need the Olympics to fund like swimming lessons for kids, and we don't.
Yeah,
we don't.
Yeah, have you heard of taxes?
Yeah. Well, Prop 13 passes in California in 1978, which makes it illegal to raise a bunch of different types of taxes.
Fantastic.
Still on the books, baby. LA 42nd amongst 50 states, or California 42nd in the country in per capita student spending.
Somebody I know
seems low for California.
I've heard that weed has insanely high taxes here.
I don't know. I don't smoke enough that I think about it.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
84 Olympics. There's a lot going on there. One of the big things is the degree to which the Olympics becomes fuel on the fire of the militarization of the police. Mm-hmm. That is the era when SWAT comes to the fore. We invented SWAT teams here in Los Angeles.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And in order to do the Olympics...
SWAT teams, car chases, like, come on.
The city was given 3 tanks.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Okay, Spike. Why do they get tanks?
Well, they get tanks just in case, stuff.
Just in case what?
Something happens with the Olympics.
The Soviets invade?
Well, during we're just post the boycott. Anyway, I went to this. There's a communist library in South LA called the Southern California Library, and me and this researcher.
That's a real.
It's great.
Yeah, the Southern California Library. It's just a library.
It's so bomb. But me and this researcher, Carrie Ann, who's another Olympian. we went down literally this week to like look at what the socialist history in terms of reaction to the Olympics in LA is, and the biggest thing they have is a big push by like all the LA lefties in 1980 to petition Jimmy Carter to not boycott the games in Moscow, because they thought that sending an American delegation to Moscow was going to re-bridge the gap between America and the Soviet Union and was going to lead us to a path to communism, which then really, really wild short-sighted.
I mean, it probably would have been... Wait, okay. So wait, where are you on the boycott?
They were anti-boycott. You didn't feel
one way or another about it? I mean, I don't know. Why boycott the Olympics?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Okay, for a lot of...
but certainly not for geopolitical
Okay, yeah.
They were like, we have to take the politics out of the Olympics and also convince everyone that socialism is good by seeing how well Moscow could.
So they were tankies. Okay.
I feel like Wilt Chamberlain got involved in the effort. Like, it wasn't all tankies top to bottom.
It was tankies and that. It was tankies and unbelievably horny guys.
And Ed
we're like, wait, you're telling me
which is Ed Asner, because Ed Asner was on that list as well.
Well, he's famously horny.
Yeah. So
Ed Asner. Remember he was on Fox and Friends once, and they were like, how'd you live so long? And he was like, by fucking.
I don't remember that. Do I remember when Ed Asner was on Fox and Friends being horny? I don't. Now I do. This is great.
Okay, yeah. Congratulations. Anyway,
in South LA, there were huge issues in terms of over-policing, gang injunctions. Those all started 82 to 86. And there's, in fact, a record of a police situation in 1985, right after the games, where... they drove one of the tanks that they got from before the Olympics.
You have a tank. What? You're not going to use it?
They drive it into what was supposed to be a gang leader's home.
No fucking way.
And like straight up like arrest everybody. And like, what did they find? They found a quarter ounce of marijuana and no guns and no other drugs. They drove a tank into their home that they got from the federal government for free for the Olympics in order to bust a guy for having a quarter ounce of marijuana.
Do they still own the tank?
I assume that at this point they have lots of tanks. In fact,
okay.
They only had 3 at the time.
Why do they own so many tanks?
Why? Because the police...
What do they use them for?
In Los Angeles? Do
they have propaganda parades?
I'm going to give you like 2 guesses on like what happens with the police and the population of Los Angeles.
I'm going to guess they use them to intimidate and threaten people of color.
Yeah.
I don't know what
that's it. That's all you need.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
I was just in case you did something else.
Oh, okay.
We have...
Can I use my second guess?
Yeah.
To get through the line at Salt and Straw.
Oh, hey-o. We have some Salt and Straws there.
Yeah, I know. I saw one in Venice, and I was like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah. There's one at Downtown Disney.
Oh, shit. That's actually cool.
Yeah, if you want to go to Disney.
I went to Downtown Disney when I went to Disneyland the second time.
Uh-huh.
There was a ska band playing in the middle of Downtown Disney.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a...
Look, instead of the Olympics, I say we fucking expand Downtown Disney, baby.
Well, okay. I mean, that is essentially what you do when you have the Olympics.
You just make a big-ass Downtown Disney.
Basically, I mean, really, because if you look at the development around Staples Center...
Sorry, Kat.
We're going to transitioning back to something serious. If you look at the development around Staples Center, LA Live, which is a bunch of offices, hotels, restaurants, commercial district.
It sucks. It's,
Yeah, it is. I mean, heavily policed, private security.
Yeah.
All that. It's built by...
Magic Johnson is everywhere.
Our least favorite. Built by Philip Anschutz of AEG. It's an AEG property.
I've heard of Philip Anschutz before.
Yeah,
How have I heard of Philip Anschutz?
He runs Coachella. He's like a hideous, homophobic, conservative monster person.
Weird that he runs Coachella.
Yep. Yeah. He also owns like tons of arenas all over the city and is on the board of the LA 2028 Olympics, I believe. And he was the one who was trying to push through the Olympics in Denver, because that's where he lives and is from, in order to redevelop Denver in the image he wants. So when you talk about...
Which is LA Live.
Yep. Yeah, when you talk about these privatized commercial
it is
spaces.
incredible how many like things there are that like rub somebody the wrong way when we start talking about this. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, well, and he is one of the primary property owners in downtown that will be redeveloping the city, going south into what is formerly redlined areas, the only areas in which people of color were allowed to buy land in the past. Mm-hmm. He's going to be on a warpath heading south, redeveloping the city because he dusted off his plans from when he was working in Denver. Okay. I mean, like...
We got out of order. We're going...
Yep. Oh, okay, sorry. Skip ahead.
We'll get to it. Sorry. Okay. So, Anschutz, not good. But I want to... did the 82 Olympics involve any major redevelopment? 4, my bad.
So that's an interesting question. Not to the degree that we think of now. Mm-hmm. It was a different era of Olympic Games to a degree. I mean, a lot of the planning happened under like neoliberalism was just kicking in, baby. In terms,
Bill Clinton had a dream that one day this political party will gargle balls.
We'll gargle Ronald Reagan's balls. Yeah. It's great. It's really tough to find the displacement numbers on 84. That's like working on it is my best answer.
Did they build I-84?
They built some, but again, not as much. It was a lot more temporary venues. It was the biggest things were like the biggest concerns at the time were like traffic, but the biggest impacts were around immigrant populations. Specifically, you had a lot of early immigrant enforcement at the time. Mm-hmm. There's like a quote from an LA Times article at the time, which is basically like teachers in South LA being like, yeah, we're not going to have a certain group of our students coming to school because police were using schools as like mobile, or satellite headquarters spaces to sort of be able to like branch out a network of surveillance.
Cops
is the real thing with 84 more than anything else. Is like when I look at the 84 games and I think about the lessons learned, it's like, okay, who got rich is like Peter Uberoth. Like the people who did redevelopment during that era got rich. And then that's where like the profit comes from. And they sold sponsorship over every inch of the city. That was the first fully like sponsored games. Mm-hmm. And the other piece is the policing piece. Where you talk about the expansion of the deadliest police force in the country.
The tank.
Yeah, the multiple tanks. And like kicking...
I just can't believe they got a tank.
Multiple tanks.
All right, anyway, go on.
So yeah, and people trumpet 84 as the most successful Olympics of all time. In a lot of ways.
What's success?
Again, that is profit. And it is not... It's the one that went the least over budget of any since... maybe the first Tokyo one. Maybe further back. Like... But since 1984, there have been a lot of Olympics. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them.
Yeah, that's what's next. So
has been unprofitable.
Uh-huh.
Every single one of them has gone over budget. I think the average over budget is like 3.5x. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a median.
3.5 times?
Yeah.
Like what they budgeted?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's a median because obviously Sochi would warp the mean on that.
We got pause for a second.
Yeah.
Who goes over budget when this goes over budget?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of talk about whether things are publicly or privately funded. In these cases, a lot of the initial construction is a public-private partnership. Mm-hmm. Like especially in what Los Angeles is planning to do in 2028. It's a lot of public-private partnerships where private developers get a mix of tax subsidies and bond, like the capacity to put out bonds and get like zero interest loans, like any stadium redevelopment. And it's where I get a little queasy around just pointing to the budget number and being like, this is too high, because the real budget number could be higher if we were developing this publicly, but we're not. We're going to shift the debt so that private developers can do this work and they can, there's far less oversight in those situations. So that's like a big chunk of it. The answer is also city and state and county, and to varying degrees, backstop it. So when things go over budget, it's not the IOC who's paying, it's not the private developers paying. They put up their initial amount of money. Mm-hmm. When it goes over budget, that's when the cities get hit.
Okay.
That's when the state gets hit. That's when, California as a state is on the hook if we go over budget. And that is a condition to getting the Olympic Games now. If you want to talk about, we, as an organization, our platform is steadfastly opposing the Olympics. If you want to talk about, where the IOC needs to be reformed, if there's any point, or, I don't know, let's start with maybe not having public citizens be the unlimited backstop when these things go over budget, because they, again, on average, go over budget by 3.5.
Jesus Christ.
So in the case of California, in case of the LA 2028, the official budget is $6.9 billion. If you assume it go 2.5x on that is what? That's 18 billion more. So 18 billion over would be what you're looking at. And that's potentially would fall on.
And that would fall on the city, the county,
Yep.
the state.
Yep. That's a lot of money.
The federal government now?
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so, although they kick in. So part of why that budget number is low is because they kick in security costs to a degree.
Oh, okay.
Part of that involves, since 9/11, the Olympics are a national special security event.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You hand over your local policing to the feds for 90 days prior to the games, which, we've got certainly one type of president in office right now.
Uh-huh.
If you were to give him full access to LAPD's databases, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hopefully there will be a different type of president by then.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We didn't see this president coming.
Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me saying.
You didn't see it
I
coming?
thought he was going to lose.
I did too.
Because he was a stupid buffoon who was terrible at politics.
Corbin, it sucks.
I don't want to, not to compliment Hillary Clinton too much, but she isn't a stupid, hideous, oh my God, Spike's going to die.
Hillary Clinton is better than Donald Trump.
Yeah, look,
I'm willing to say.
I hope people don't mind me saying. The only thing about Hillary Clinton that isn't better at Donald Trump is that Donald Trump is wildly incompetent. And so some of the sort of vicious things that she wants to do, she probably would have been better at doing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A friend of mine made a joke where he said if Hillary was in office, Maduro would be fucking out of office already.
Hey.
Yeah. Because,
well, fortunately, we don't have to think too hard about that counterfactual because we just live in regular
yeah,
hell.
yeah.
We don't need to live in
cool world.
A cool world. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Not all.
You ever think about how we might live in the parallel universe?
I try not to.
Okay, because it occurs to me.
Well, and what's going on in the other one?
Hillary Clinton's president.
And we're all eating brunch or whatever instead of marching.
We're whining.
Oh, we're
yeah,
whining,
shit still sucks.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, but Donald Trump isn't president? Anyway.
Yeah. Can I talk about what's happening in LA today? Or do you want to not do that? Do you wanna...
No, I do. But I want to... I want to go through some of the history. So, since the profitable Olympics, there have been a lot of not profitable Olympics. Well, what happened? How do they fuck people? Stories, baby.
So you can look at there are a bunch of different ways that things get fucked up. I think Rio, in a lot of ways, has all of them. Mm-hmm. It has all the pieces.
Cool, let's go. Love it.
Because you've got the massive militarization of the police trying to clean out the favelas and relocate people.
Explain a favela to people in case they're not.
Favela is a...
I know what they are, but just in case the audience doesn't,
it is an informal settlement. That's what they're called in Brazil. They're townships in South Africa, slums in India. They have different names. Places. Informal settlement just meaning property rights are pretty up in the air in those situations. And it's not sanctioned land by the government frequently. It is
people
asserting their right to the city
Yeah.
and being this is where we can afford to live, so we're going to just build here and building
little rundown.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, absolutely. Totally disinvested. A lot of ad hoc communities.
Not something we have in America.
No, we just don't shelter. We don't let people shelter.
Yeah. We clean.
And we'll get to that with Los Angeles.
Oh yeah. That's actually a problem in Portland right now too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, absolutely. And it's a problem in Honolulu. It's a problem in Seattle. It's a problem in pretty much every major city, especially on the West Coast.
Anyway.
So you have just massive crackdowns on favelas. You have essentially...
Just people wholesale exiled from their homes.
Exiled from their homes, put hours away. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the transit that gets built is built, like, between the stadia. So, like, the mass transit doesn't... That they used to live close to. So they could go to work. Now they don't live close to it. Yeah. So it's like that's just like a basic thing. You also have just like thousands of people dying, like being murdered by the police by like the thousands. Which is
explain that to me a little bit. I mean, I understand that Brazil is a country with maybe a little less governmental accountability than ours, but
I want to be clear. LA has murdered like hundreds of people since the last policeman was prosecuted in the city.
Oh, Jesus.
We're at, I think, like 450. Maybe we've had one prosecution over the last 450 police.
Okay, so that's a little unfair to the government of Brazil.
I think it's and I think it's a really important thing to think about. Is a lot of the talk around LA 2028 is exceptionalism. We're Los Angeles. We were profitable last time. We were able to do it with less building last time. But if you look at the cities, you look at London. They use the Olympics as an excuse to massively expand their surveillance state. London is now the most surveilled major city in the world. And I don't know how Pyeongchang or like, and Shanghai's very well surveilled. So like there are some other examples, but like London's right.
So
up
do you
there.
think they saw me jerking off in that alley when I was last in London?
Yes,
oh,
I saw it.
Oh
they sent me a link. I was able to live stream.
They said, "Do you know who this fat pervert is?"
I was like, "No, that's not. You don't need to do that."
Fat? Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, he's just a pervert.
Hey, you know who this fat pervert is?
It's a great British accent.
Thanks.
But you look at Tokyo, where they tried to build a stadium, and they went 3 times over budget on their main Olympic stadium this time.
What year was Tokyo?
Tokyo's 2020. Tokyo's coming up.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Tokyo's next. Maybe Tokyo on deck.
Well, you know a lot more about this than I do.
We'll get to Tokyo in a sec, but
okay.
But Tokyo. So all this.
Can we slide back to Brazil for a little second?
Yeah.
What else happened?
What else?
So why
massive displacement, massive police murders, and then just tons of money.
Why were the police murdering people?
Because they were trying to clean up the favelas. They're talking about sweeping out.
They just decided that these.
They shot first and asked questions later on their equivalent of gang injunctions.
Okay.
And they sent out not military.
God, that is hideous.
And they sent out not militarized police, but the actual.
Because just normal fucking people live in favelas, right? Okay.
So like,
I don't know why I asked that. I know that.
Yeah.
Normal fucking people live in favelas.
Exactly. And
there's a lot of fucking people in Brazil. There's only,
And it wasn't just militarized police. It was also the military.
Yeah.
Like the military was getting involved, and you can see it right now, and like the path from that to Bolsonaro.
I was gonna ask.
Those are the same guys.
Go ahead.
Those are the same. I mean, those are the same guys. And then you
Bolsonaro, for people is the president of Brazil.
Yeah.
And is a fascist.
Yeah, full blown fascist. And the other issue with the Olympics is, and what leads you to Bolsonaro is you normalize this level of violence in the favelas, mostly against people of color. Wildly disproportionate.
Indigenous people.
Yes, both indigenous people and descendants of slaves.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously the racial composition of Brazil is very different than America. Yeah. So, but they're equivalent, marginalized communities there.
Okay.
Probably a better way to put it. So you have that. You also have massive corruption, and you have losing.
No.
Yeah. You lose lots of money on all sorts of just like absolute nonsense all over the place.
Examples, let's do it.
This is a World Cup example, because I was down there for the World Cup. I wasn't down there for the Olympics. So I was in Sao Paulo to the World Cup.
Did you go to the World Cup as like I enjoy the World Cup?
I was freelancing for Grantland at the time.
It was back when Grantland existed and I was freelancing. We get it, Spike. Yeah. I didn't get to write for Grantland. I see what you're fucking...
But yeah, so I was down there for...
You were there to cover the game, to cover the World Cup at Grantland. At the time, you were...
This is funny. I just was... They, like, sent... who'd they send down? Brian Phillips.
Uh-huh.
And I just sort of, like, sent an email to my editor at the time and was like, if I go, will you just pay me for pieces? And he was like, I get, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go then. But they, like...
Is it possible Grantland maybe had a little too much money?
No, they paid me, like... They weren't paying me much.
Okay, all right.
But they definitely put Brian Phillips up in, like, a fancy hotel and, like, flew him down. I basically broke even on the trip.
Have you met Brian Phillips?
I have not.
Oh, me neither. Good talk.
He lives around here. He lives in, like, Los Feliz, I think.
That sounds true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a neighborhood.
I'll go find him.
Yeah, go find him after we finish.
You follow me on Twitter.
Anyway, so I land in Sao Paulo to go see a game at the whatever.
Butthole. You were at the time the only American sports writer who liked soccer.
God damn it. I'm actually not watching the Liverpool match right now because I'm too stressed to think about it. Halftime.
Boo.
I'm like genuinely too stressed to think about it.
It's just they're just kicking the fucking ball around, bro.
I can't. I honestly, like, this week's
You're
match,
not even from Liverpool.
Yeah. Whatever.
Okay.
We're so close. Oh. Anyway, we land in Sao Paulo, we go and we see like this like big like huge stanchions, like probably 8 stories high for like an elevated railway. 8 stories probably not. Probably like 4 to 5 stories. Mm-hmm. And they just like end about half a mile from the airport. Mm-hmm. And the guy over there would just like points up and is like, yeah, they're never going to finish that. And it was just a new railway line that was supposed to connect the airport to the city's main transit. Uh-huh. And they just stopped building it. They just like ran out of money and time. And they're like, well, I guess the World Cup already happened, so we're not going to finish this.
That is hideous.
So there's like 3/4 of a rail line. The worst part, people died building it.
Oh, great.
Literally, people died rushing the construction of the train line.
The last thought of those people was, at least this railway will get built. As their bones were sealed in with concrete.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh, it sucks.
Do you know that by Charles Manson's rules?
What?
Okay.
What?
That the train is they're the train slaves in heaven. You don't know about this? Charles Manson said that anybody you kill is your slave in the afterlife. Okay, all right.
So that's a bummer. So we need to keep Charles Manson alive for the sake of Sharon Tate?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, by his theory, I suppose.
Well, and I assume that anybody's theory applies for their own afterlife. Like, if you had a theory about your afterlife...
So wait. So I can just be like, well, yeah, when I die, I just have a constant orgasm.
I mean, do you want that? For, like, eternity?
No, I guess not. I just want somebody to love me, you know?
Yeah.
Damn.
For eternity.
Oh, shit. That actually sounds nice. Ugh.
It does.
I don't like this conversation anymore.
Well, okay. So, I mean, there are myriad other examples of just massive government waste and spending on the wrong things. And, like, that's a big thing with these events is... Somewhere like LA, we've got our transit funded. We have like sales. We have crazy sales taxes like everywhere. Any other progressive, in quote mark, city that is like, yeah, we want trains, but we're only going to pay for it with a regressive consumption tax. Chill. But we've got metro.
Sorry, rich people, we can't tax that.
Yeah. But we've got like our train line funded for the next 40 to 50 years in terms of expansion. What the Olympics will do is change the priorities. So we change the order the network gets built. So it doesn't get built as efficiently as it can for the actual movement of people in the city. Mm-hmm.
It gets built to handle the Olympics.
A 2-week event. And on top of that, you end up rushing some of these projects, which A, can lead to certainly leads to increased displacement because you don't have the time to either A, dig underneath homes, or B, properly do an eminent domain proceeding so people can like actually be compensated for their homes.
They just get fucked out of their houses.
Exactly. Because there's a ticking clock of the Olympics. That's the big thing the Olympics creates is this unnecessary ticking clock. And the other thing is, by rushing it, your budgets go up like crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're like, hey, we've got 8 years to build this train line. No, actually, we have 3 years.
There's an economic term for that. I don't remember.
Speedy go money?
Yes, speedy go money.
Is it the speedy go money theorem?
Yeah, the speedy go money. No, it's like, I can't remember.
Anyway,
you'd have to ask Lewis.
So, yeah. Ugh, Lewis. I wonder what... Well, that's fine.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Lewis doesn't like the Olympics.
Good. That's good.
Okay.
You never know with people. I go to UCLA for planning school. Lewis goes to USC.
Yeah, private school, public school.
Yeah, it's a classic battle.
Yeah. We're talking about Keen right now, by the way. Yeah. For anybody who likes various take it or break it characters.
If you're 55 minutes into this podcast.
I wonder how Nathan Bernhardt feels about it. Okay.
Charles Starr's
Charles Starr. Damn it,
big Olympics guy.
I was just going for Charles Starr.
I was just texted with him because I went to a Pirates game with one of his old lawyer friends from New York recently.
That's some Charles Starr ass shit right there.
It was really Charles Starr shit, and I just kept roasting him because Melky Cabrera is batting number 2 for the Pirates in the year of our Lord 2019. And he texted me like he was like in
baseball careers just like don't end, do they?
Well, and like 36 hours later, he texted me back and be like, "I'm still mad about this. Melky Cabrera's batting .330. How dare you?" And I'm like, if you're still hot like a day and a half later about a Melky Cabrera related own, like that's a tough place to be as a fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, LA's a lot more like Rio than a lot of other cities. You're dealing sprawl. I mean, just size of the city.
Yeah.
Second city of the country. You're talking about a massive population of people without formal housing.
Huge fucking metropolitan area, too.
Exactly.
A huge metropolitan area that is all fucking populated.
And, we're talking about city council corruption in Rio that led to these bad construction projects. I don't know if people are aware, but currently... One of our city councilmen, I believe, is indicted. 2 others are under FBI investigation for taking weird bribes from developers. Mm-hmm. That's 3 out of 15. Mm-hmm. And there's another one who might have been voting on things that technically his wife owns, but they got married in Idaho, so they've sealed all the records of what was shared between them in the marriage. They went to Idaho to have a shady contract.
Isn't that? I just want to say, I mean, willingly going to Idaho.
Yeah, right. Suspicious.
Hideous.
Suspicious.
Just, yeah. Come on.
Suspiria would be the name of the movie I'd make about someone who does that.
Yeah. I would call it Idaho, and the poster would be the husband and the wife with their hands up like, what?
Oh, wait, I got another pitch. My own publicly funded Idaho.
Oh, shit. That's pretty good.
There we go. Anyway, so we got the corruption. We've got the same size city. We have the same relationship between the city and the country, and we have the same fascist leader currently. Mm-hmm. So, all of that.
Wait, Trump or your mayor?
I don't take the official no Olympics stance that Garcetti is as bad as Trump.
Okay.
I'm willing to say that.
Okay.
He's
pretty bad.
Yeah, he's just regular bad.
Okay. Hillary Clinton.
Is
he worse than Hillary Clinton?
Only because the population that he represents is has the potential to be led by someone more good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? LA.
No, I feel you.
If Hillary Clinton was the mayor of LA, come on. But that's basically the case.
Okay.
Yeah, LA, currently over the official...
So now we're moving,
I think,
to the part of the thing where we talk about loss. So, we've established the Olympics are pretty fucking bad.
Problematic and again, especially your main angle...
They kill people.
They kill people, they displace people, and they make cities broke.
Yeah.
We've got those issues in Los Angeles. The killing people, again, I mentioned it earlier... it's been hundreds.
LAPD fucking loves doing it.
I mean, I could throw statistics out. It's literally LAPD.
Look,
they
remember that time when O.J. Simpson wasn't convicted of murder because the LAPD had murdered too many black people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or I mean, just it's LAPD. I was about to say, what's the thing you say when you prove something? QED.
Yeah.
QED, yeah. LAPD.
Ked.
But it is worth pointing out that they are doing... LAPD is at the forefront of what's called predictive policing.
Oh, God. I'm look, let me just guess what this is. It's really good, and nobody's civil rights get violated. Is that true?
You nailed
Am I right?
it. You nailed it.
Yay!
Yeah,
I have to say, when you said they were on the forefront, I was like, maybe this is going to be some good news. And then you said the 1984 thing.
Yeah. No, predictive policing, they are using these algorithms developed to,
Christ.
find clusters of crime. Obviously, you have a garbage in, garbage out.
So it's like the Cree, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a supreme intelligence.
Yeah.
That runs the city now.
And decides where crime is going to be, and therefore ramps up enforcement. But of course, they use past crime data, which was created by
Can we just pause for a second? I don't know if we need to even justify it with they use past crime data. This is a pretty fucking bad idea, and it's,
Yeah, but anyway, it's real bad. It's real bad. So that's the one piece, is the policing piece. And again, we invented the militarization of the police. Uh-huh. We also have a massive undocumented population here. National Special Security event means feds come in. Mm-hmm. And
what is a federal agency that might take advantage
I can't think of any.
Of something like that?
I can't think of any.
I was thinking it's like cold.
It's definitely cold.
It's you get it out of the freezer.
Yeah, or a machine.
Yeah.
Like a hotel.
It's like sometimes it's pebbles, and you're
like,
we got the pebble.
Yeah.
This.
And sometimes
it's ice. It's the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement.
And
who, if under a certain type of administration, would probably take this as carte blanche to just run around and exile as many people as possible for as little reasons as possible. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Do you want to hear about the LA County Sheriff?
Do I ever?
So, for the first time ever, LA successfully ousted a sheriff, and we brought in this other guy.
Hey, good job, guys.
Well... Yeah, wait for it. So we brought this other guy, Alex...
No more problems. Okay.
We brought this other guy, Alex Villanueva, who said on the campaign trail, "I will keep ICE out of our jails."
They didn't do that, did they?
Well, since he's clarified, he said, if ICE asks about someone, we will take them out of the jail and deliver them to ICE outside of the jail. So that's what he meant by that. Mm-hmm. He also has been on a rash of reinstating sheriff's deputies who were kicked off the force, including one for domestic violence against another sheriff, Carl Mondion. That's what he does. That is like his only thing that he's done since getting into office, is being like, actually, we're still going to give people to ICE. Cool. And
he also promoted Harry Bosch, though. So
he has been. He's just been late. He's just on like a person. It turns out he wanted to be sheriff to settle a bunch of personal scores within the sheriff.
Cool.
So it's just
cool. That's awesome. But in fairness, it worked for Trump.
Yeah. So that's what's happening.
Although
here.
I do think that maybe Trump's personal scores to settle have gotten a little jumbled. Anyway,
you think?
Yeah. He hasn't been able to keep his eye on the ball on that one. I don't
really
think.
Can't. Housing. We have a pretty serious gentrification displacement issue. Where gentrification gets used a lot to describe a lot of different forms of displacement. LA has gentrification. We have communities of color that are close to the inner city that were formerly redlined, but most of the land was owned.
Redlining means that they were zoned for...
They were basically... You could not get an FHA loan if you... in these areas, is essentially what it was, because they were largely people of color. So the houses there were like rarely owned. It was large sections of disinvestment. And they were the only places where people of color were allowed to own or rent.
Mm-hmm. Up until, or...
Through the... I mean, like, technically racially restrictive covenants ended in the late 40s, and then redlining sort of ended in the 60s, 70s, depending on what you're looking at.
But this happened in Portland, too.
Yeah. Again, every major city. LA just has the thing of like, oh, now these neighborhoods are like, oh, wow, these are pretty close to downtown. There's decent housing stock here, built like a long time ago. Yeah, rich white people are buying them and jacking up prices. Like, that's gentrification. We've got that in spades. We also have over 50,000 unhoused on our streets every night.
So
That's a big number.
And how would you say that projects that involve bringing in a lot of people, maybe, how would you say that they treat human beings who are sleeping on streets?
Not great. A lot of talk. So Garcetti's been like, we are going to have 0 people living on our streets by 2028. How do you accomplish that?
Oh.
Well, like, there are 2 ways to accomplish that. One is you devote the bulk of your city's budget to the construction of socialized housing. And you start by building permanent supportive housing for the most vulnerable and at-risk people, and then you move your way up the income ladder to make sure that those vulnerable... Or you spend over 50% of the city's budget on discretionary budget on the LAPD, and you criminalize people, and you sweep them and you make their lives miserable.
This is some shit that happens
everywhere
in every city. In Portland, it is particularly fraught because a lot of times they'll live on bike trails.
Yep.
And so they'll be like, you gotta get them off the bike trail. And now, look, I'm not trying to be like, only middle-class people ride bike, because that's not true.
Yeah.
Most cyclists have less money. But a certain type of cyclist gets unnerved.
Yeah.
And what do those sweeps do to people?
Frequently,
Human beings.
You're talking about losing all your possessions.
Yeah.
The big one is frequently, very often, people lose their ID. And it is very difficult to transition from the street to services without proper documentation. It's very difficult to track that documentation down when it's been thrown away. There are lots of agencies, especially in Los Angeles, that I'm aware of, that work really hard. They get a caseworker assigned to them, people living unhoused, and it's like, okay, we're going to work, we're going to get you your ID, we're going to be able to start that process. And then that gets thrown away. Just all of your possessions get thrown away. Like, technically, you are only allowed in Los Angeles to be in public with, I believe it's 64 gallon. No, like, it's the size of a big trash can. Like, whatever that number is of, like, a big, like, leaf trash can, that is the volume of goods you're allowed to have on you at any given time on the streets of Los Angeles.
Yucky law.
And it's specifically so that they can take a big garbage bag and put all your stuff in it, and whatever doesn't fit, you were not allowed to have, so they can just throw that away. And then in theory, they're supposed to take that garbage bag and put it in a site where you can go pick it up later. Theory and practice.
Yeah.
And
also
and you're talking about, these sweeps happen, these are primarily led by police officers. And you're talking about a lot of cases where guns are drawn. You're talking about, like, genuinely traumatic incidents where people are living. And you look at a city like Tokyo that has the games coming in 2020. They had an unhoused population of around 1,100 for a city, obviously,
not that many.
Way, way bigger than Los Angeles. But they were similarly targeted and swept and, like, basically pushed. And in fairness to Tokyo, they were pushed largely into shelters where people had individual rooms, which is something. Like, here we don't have the shelter space.
No.
We don't have the shelter space for, I think it's like 38,000 of our unhoused. We're 38,000 beds short as a city. That's too many.
Is it, I'm about to ask a question that might be insensitive.
Please.
Is it less of a problem here because of the weather?
Well, okay, so you saw coming over, you crossed the LA River. There's a big population that lives in the LA River, and 3 people in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, Atwater Village, a very small neighborhood, 3 unhoused people died this winter because and I think 1 or 2 died of drowning because the river level came up too quickly on them. There's the reason that, yes, like, New York can't have, like, New York shelters all of their unhoused.
Portland too.
Yeah. New York shelters all of their unhoused. Los Angeles doesn't have to, and so they don't. And yeah, weather is a part of it. Absolutely. Like, people die less, but, like, people die on the streets here, a lot. Like, people are dying in this city. And when you look at the amount of displacement you can expect with an Olympic Games, you're talking about tens of thousands more people on the streets. And we're already at a number.
Because you have to get people out of their houses,
and
too.
Exactly. So you can talk about a development process. Like, there's a development happening right now near USC, near the Coliseum. And it's being sold as, like, solving the city's hotel crisis. We don't have enough hotels. So they are taking...
Sorry, they call it the hotel crisis?
Yep. There's a hotel crisis coming to the city, according to a certain...
Can you even imagine?
Yeah.
And there might not be enough hotel... You know, I will say, I was in the hotel today. The line at the breakfast bar was a little long.
A little long for Corbs. Couldn't get his waffles.
Yeah, I ended up not getting waffles. I just got eggs, which... It's kind of a crisis.
Yeah, look, no one wants that for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the case of the Fig, you're talking about a development replacing rent-stabilized housing. So you have people who have at least some stability, and they're losing that, and you cannot build new rent-stabilized housing. We have a state law called the Costa-Hawkins Act. We tried to repeal it. We failed.
Who passed that?
Costa and Hawkins back in 1995. There was a bipartisan coalition.
1995. I thought that was going to be some Reagan shit.
Nope. No. Rent control actually came about sort of under Reagan as a pairing with Prop 13, which made it illegal to raise property taxes. So basically, renters were like, "Can it at least be like, can we limit how much rent?" And they're like, "Okay, to municipal by municipal level." Okay. But whatever. Costa-Hawkins Act limits when no new construction can come under rent control. No single-family homes can come under rent control. So when you lose rent-stabilized housing, you cannot get it back. We don't really have a mechanism to build income-restricted housing. We're just dying on that front. Like, this city is dying for housing that can house people who make between 30 and 80% of median income. We just don't have it. And we're not building it, and it takes a while to build it anyway. And so when you talk about what will happen if you redevelop some of these places into hotels, and you talk about Philip Anschutz moving south and redeveloping big chunks of the city, our old housing stock turning into new housing stock, you're talking about putting people on the streets. You're talking about taking people out of their homes and them not having an equivalent unit to go into. So if they're at maybe, let's say, that 60 to 80% of median income range, they move to San Bernardino, they suddenly have a 2-hour commute every day. Which, like, okay, you're not dying in that situation, but
it fucks up your life.
It fucks up your life, and 2-hour commute in your car by yourself. Like, that ain't great for the environment. Like, that's a really negative outcome.
Because there's not really a public transportation up to San Bernardino, I suspect.
There's one train.
Jesus.
So, you know, you get these, and again, you're talking about moving into these formerly redlined areas, so you have this move from what had been containment to peripheralization, where people go from having been stuck into the middle of the city, but now that the middle of the city is attractive to developers, you are now being pushed out to the edges of the city. And in a city with the transportation infrastructure of Los Angeles, it's a massive quality of life and environmental issue. And then if you are below that 60%, you might not even be able to afford to live there. So you might not be able to afford to move. You might have kids in school, you know, so you move in your car. And then it's illegal to park a lot of different places. It's illegal to sleep in your car, period. So you get enough tickets on your car gets impounded. I agree
that the law that says that you can't sleep in a car is unbelievably cruel, right?
That's from the last 8 years. That is a new law.
That is hideous.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And they just renewed it. Cool, and I think it was a 13-2 vote on city council.
Good.
Yep. Good. Yep. So this is the sort of context that... Oh, and then, yeah, again, the corruption. We have the corruption. We have the guy who's going to make all the money is the homophobic Coachella guy.
Really sounds like a monster, gotta say.
Yeah, he sucks. And so Garcetti talks a lot about how this is going to be a no-build Olympics. Again, that $6.9 billion is like a relatively low number for this sort of thing.
Because a lot of okay. I will. Yep. This is a question I was going to ask.
Yep.
There are a lot of venues.
Yeah.
That already exist in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. And will exist with the Inglewood Stadium.
Is that the Clippers one theoretically?
The Rams one. I guess the Clippers won 2, but I don't know if they would use.
Oh, I saw when I flew in. I saw them building the Rams Stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's 2 of those. You could even. We'll talk. Okay, well, we'll ask. We'll talk about that in a broader thing. But there's a ton of stadiums here. There's college stadiums. Mm-hmm. There's how many major college programs are there here? Like
2.
2?
Yeah.
Kind of thought there were going to be more than 2, honestly.
I mean, like, there are, like, Cal State Long Beach. Like, there are, like, schools that have, like, but, like, not D1 football or whatever.
Okay.
It's not a big college football city.
Staples. There's probably going to be another Clippers. There's probably going to be maybe a Clipper Stadium.
Which is
seems
like problematic.
Seems like a pretty fucking bad idea. But there's Ram Stadium. There's 2 baseball stadiums. There's a baseball stadium and then Anaheim's baseball stadium.
Yeah.
You could even theoretically rope in San Diego, although
they're not. We know where the sites are.
Okay.
So a lot of what you've described, because like you throw in the Rose Bowl, and like you look at the bigger map, and it's like San Dimas has some, Long Beach has a lot, Santa Monica has a lot. What they've done in constructing this bid is pushed a lot of these venues just outside of LA City, and that's like a little confusing if you don't live here. But LA County is like LA. But within LA County, there are technically 88 cities. One of them is LA, and that has half the people. And then the other half are divided between 87 other municipalities.
Santa Monica,
West Hollywood, Beverly Hills are probably the most famous. Burbank, Pasadena, Glendale.
Yeah.
But then you go south and you have tons of them.
Yeah.
Carson, where the StubHub Center is. Long Beach, where all the water sports development's going to be.
The StubHub Center, please.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still called that. That's where the Galaxy plays.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times home.
Yeah, we could call it playing.
Shots fired.
Boo, eat it, MLS.
Yeah. And so what construction there will be outside the city of Los Angeles to a large degree. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean there won't be...
What do they need... How many venues do they need to build?
Boating, archery...
Boating!
There's like a lot of boating.
Okay, why can't... Why does archery need to specialize?
They're building archery in the USC baseball stadium, I believe I've seen the renderings for, where they're going to build like a watery pool. Oh, they have to build a pool. But the pool is in the USC baseball stadium. I don't know. The weird thing is, of all the things, like LA doesn't have an Olympic caliber aquatic center, and they're not going to build one. They're like, we won't do that.
Okay. I'm like, time out. How does LA not have an Olympic quality aquatic center?
I don't know.
It's Los Angeles.
You'd think.
People swim.
All the time. Everybody has their own pools. No one, I have my own pool. It's right out there.
Wait, do you really?
No. Oh. It's a grill. I have my own grill.
Do you occasionally fill it up with water and splash in it?
Yeah, I put a little rubber ducky in it.
Yeah. You wear a rubber ducky floaty.
Yeah.
You wear one of those caps.
Yeah. We don't
You have a sniper rifle. There we go. Finally, a joke. Continue.
Anyway, we don't... for whatever reason, we're building a temporary aquatic center in the USC baseball field.
They're just like digging up the field.
Basically? Why? I don't know. The big expenses are obviously going to be police and then all the transit infrastructure that's going to be all moved around. And then it's all the public-private partnerships around all these hotel developments. When we talk about these hotel developments near stadia, like there's one...
Because there's a hotel crisis.
Well, the hotel crisis.
In the second biggest tourist city in America.
Yeah, nobody knows to come to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There's certainly nothing here.
Second or third? I don't know. Where we put New York on this?
I might put us number 1.
Oh, Las Vegas.
Oh. Vegas sucks these days. It's too expensive.
Oh, okay. All right, Dad. Jesus.
Resort fees, parking fees. Get out of here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's where was I don't know. It's all bad. The hotels, they're subsidized by the government. The government is paying. The government cuts a check. Like they're going to open this like 200.
The federal government
hotel.
or the
city? City is giving $17 million to the developers of a hotel.
Holy shit!
Of a 200-room hotel
to build in areas that they're rezoning to displace people.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about This.
Sure.
What do the people who are doing that want to do? Okay.
Make money.
Okay.
Or do you mean on the government side?
Okay, yeah. Let's say you are a city councilman or...
Oh, I can't wait.
When you are giving $17 million to hotel developers, America's best people. When you are giving $17 million to hotel developers to and rezoning permittances to hotel developers to blow up people's housing and build hotels on top of it under the auspices of the Olympics. Where is your point of self-justification? Is it the point where you say, well, we're going to have the Olympics, we kind of need these hotels? Is it the point where you go, well, we kind of don't like these houses very much? Is it the point where you go, well, we need more hotels anyway? What is the motivating point here?
I think it's the motivating point is the doing of the Olympics, but I do want to say this about City Council because I think it's illustrative. CD12 is a part of the San Fernando Valley. It was run by Mitch Englander. He stepped down.
Less of a dragon. It was a Game of Thrones name, but not quite a dragon.
But he stepped down December 31st, and he did it to take a job as a political lobbyist for the Oakview Group. The Oakview Group
I'm going to presume they develop hotels.
No, they develop stadiums. They're redeveloping Key Arena in Seattle. They're run by Tim Lewicki, who is Phil Anschutz's former partner. So he literally...
just for the people who are wondering, Spike just made devil horns.
I tried to put my pinky and my pointer finger together
to
show them coming together.
Yeah, but you were trying to evoke Satan, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
So in this situation, you have City Council basically laying the groundwork for a massive slate of stadium development in the city. And less in the city, more in the region, to be fair, I guess. I don't know if that's fair or not. Is the deal.
Yeah. It's anybody who, imagine, I've been to, you have to be in Los Angeles for 5 minutes to figure out that Los Angeles is more than Los Angeles.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. And so this dude left City Council to take that job with the guy for whom he had created the conditions whereby it would be necessary to expand, and he is now their primary political lobbyist.
Kind of seems like that should be illegal.
He did it in the middle of his term. He stepped down a year early to take this job.
That is hideous. Okay.
He was the last elected Republican in all of LA
Well, at least he's a
County.
Republican, I guess.
Thank God. Good thing he's getting paid.
Yeah. At least he's not one of our guys.
There's actually some good people running for that seat right now in a special election. But in the meantime, they appointed the former guy from that district. This guy Greg Smith, who's a vigilante cop. He's an ex-cop who became a city councilman, but then after he retired from the city council, he's now been put back on city council. But in that interim period, would just go around with his gun, enforcing the law,
Just doing Punisher shit.
Yeah. So,
did you see
anyway,
Endgame?
I did not.
Okay,
I'm
never mind.
real busy making maps of where unhoused people are being.
To see a 3-hour movie? Come on.
The movie's 90 years long, right?
Oh, it's 3 hours long.
Yeah,
it rules.
I'm sure it does.
Okay,
I've seen probably 8 of the 22 Marvel movies. Is that enough?
Yeah, you're gonna hate it.
Oh,
did you see? Did you see Infinity War?
No.
Then that's a problem.
Got it. Well, I saw Ragnarok 5 times.
Well, yeah, because it rules.
Yeah, Ragnarok's the only one I love. Iron Man and Black Panther are good.
I love Black Panther.
I put it at 1 tier below Ragnarok.
Okay, yeah, Ragnarok's my favorite one. But
yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Anyway,
so I don't know. So that's all happening, and it's terrible for LA, but this is terrible everywhere. And again, you guys have, I love sports.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So, okay, you have introduced the thing that I was going to ask last.
Yeah.
Do you like the Olympics?
Watching the Olympic
Yes.
Games? Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah. Like, if I'm totally honest, like, yes. I would say it doesn't need to be like this, but if you look at the history of the Olympics...
God, you've brought up both of the questions I was going to ask at the end.
It's like a bunch of, like, barons, and, like, the first IOC head that was American was, like, very sympathetic to Hitler during the war. You know what I mean? Like, like, very... I'm blanking on his name right now, but, like, his writings are very sympathetic.
It was Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, he really did not want us to get involved with the Russian side of World War II.
Well, they were communists.
Yeah, and
Hitler
was on the other side, so...
Yeah, but communism?
Yeah. So, you know, like, so there it's just like a history and it's specifically an opportunity to redevelop areas to conform to the mental map of, like, fail sons and developers, like royal fail sons.
People who see LA Live and say, "This is it, baby.
More. We want more." Yeah, and it ain't worth it.
Oh, really?
Like, that's like the obvious thing to say, but like and it's hard to, like, I'm sure if like there was like some kayaker who came up to me and was like, "This is what I live for. It's kayaking to make the Olympic Games, and you're going to take that away from me." Like, it would be hard for me to be like, yeah, but I'd also be like, but, like, literally,
but that
people
guy's
are
gonna not
dying.
Die.
Yeah, people are literally dying, and we need to figure out a different way to get people to care about kayaking that doesn't necessitate the death of random other people. Like, that should be doable. We do that with sports all the time. Like, the NBA rarely, like, leads to people's deaths in the development of these stadiums.
I mean, fucked up.
Yeah.
It does a little.
Yeah, a little bit. But, like, and again, like, when you think about, like, developing stadiums, generally it's ugly. It's really ugly.
Yeah.
Obvious.
Bad.
But in the case of, like, an NBA stadium, you're using it for 20 years, at least, ideally 50.
Yeah.
You know? In the case of the Olympics, you are redeveloping your infrastructure and you're redeveloping your city for 2 weeks. And the question is, why would anyone want to do that? And the answer is because they want to redevelop as if a natural disaster had hit and you get sort of free reign to fix stuff.
Oh.
But you're creating the conditions.
Finally, Naomi Klein has showed
Hell yeah,
up.
baby. Hell yeah, baby.
To the fucking... Naomi, what's going on? Hi, I'm Corbin. Look, I'm trying to fuck Naomi Klein. Okay.
Okay, that's weird. But it is that situation. You create the shock doctrine in reverse.
Yeah.
And people want to create those conditions. And we need to find a way to decouple amateur sports.
Here's another question.
Yeah.
Which people? Is it just developers, or is it like?
I think there are people who think that it, and I think so. I alighted an example earlier, and it's Barcelona. And there's a lot of protests in Barcelona right now about the rash of tourism in Barcelona and all these things.
They when they're
92.
Okay, yeah.
They're considered a success story in a lot of ways because where they redeveloped in the city had not been, they were not displacing people. Mm-hmm. It was like former industrial or whatever. And like people look at it as like, oh, it's an expansion of Barcelona's beautiful design and like blah blah blah. And like I think it's people who are drawn to master planning, looking at a city from the God's eye and being like, well, if we just cleaned it up like this and rearrange these pieces without thinking about the people underneath it, mm-hmm. then things would be better.
It's the third man theory.
Yeah.
Well, those dots, wouldn't you kill one of those dots for $1,000?
Exactly. And like and when you get to know those dots and when you live in a city full of those dots, it becomes untenable because you see the suffering created by people thinking that way. And that is true under its current structure wherever the games go. Mm-hmm. Which is why, to bring it all the way around, a bunch of us from LA are going to work with the equivalent group in Tokyo, Hungary, Nokai this summer. We're going to be out there for like 8 days. There's going to be a whole symposium with Jules Boykoff. There's going to be a big protest. It's all 1 year out from the 2020 Tokyo Games. Mm-hmm. But folks from Paris are coming. Folks from South Korea are coming.
Are those the next few games?
Yeah, Paris and South Korea. South Korea was the last 2018. Uh-huh. Paris is 2024.
South Korea bad?
Yeah, they like tore down an entire like historic forest to build like a ski slope that then was abandoned.
Fucking hate. I came into this conversation trying to be like, well, they're fun, you know, maybe trying to be a little bit like,
and like that's where I land on the NBA. Like if you're like, I'm gonna build an arena, and like again, like the specifics of the Inglewood Arena don't align with that, but like Staples Center, like it's in downtown. It didn't, like, only the parking lot displaced people because we're idiots. 'Cause we're, like, and, like, it hosts 3 professional sports teams. It's used all the time. It's surrounded by a garbage mall, whatever. They also use it for Nipsey Hussle's funeral. It's a genuine site of, like, community in some gross, perverted way. Yeah. Like, but, like, we use it. Like, and, like, basketball is fun. And, like, that's enough. Like, that's okay. Like, I can live with it. I can sleep at night watching a Lakers game. Clippers game. Lakers, God, I hate them so much. Yeah, it was such a great season for that, though.
Yeah, just wonderful.
Oh my God. But when you talk about an event that's 2 weeks and an event that is going to, and the scale of how the event hits a city is so different. When I talked about that Sao Paulo example, there's one stadium in Sao Paulo that was built for the World Cup. Mm-hmm. In a city of, like, 16 million people? Mm-hmm. Like, it had a negative effect on that city because the city is idiotic. And not idiotic. The city fell in thrall with this vision of what the World Cup could bring to it. But what happened in Rio was different. What the Olympics does is it spreads itself across the city. When you look at a map of LA, look at where San Dimas is, look at where Encino is, look at where Long Beach is. Build that triangle. That's where the events are happening. Mm-hmm. And that is a huge swath of land. I would wager it's the size of Rhode Island. You know what I mean? Like it is a massive, massive swath of land that's going to be affected by this. And a massive number of people live in that area. And so why are we doing this? There's got to be a better answer. And like the answer is so that the city can be redeveloped. That is not a symptom of the Olympics. That is actually the cause of wanting the Olympics. And I think that like getting your brain around that like the amateur sports is a trick. It's an excuse to have a massive redevelopment that would never be able to happen in Los Angeles otherwise because communities are going to get in the way and because people are going to get in the way. And this is a way to trample over them. And that's unacceptable. Like we cannot accept that in this day and age. And you add on the policing to it and you add on the just massive displacement. It's, and the opportunities for corruption and graft, like, what are we doing? Anyway, we're all getting together in Tokyo this summer, and we're going to work on saying that it's... Because, again, cities have effectively resisted the Olympics, but we've never had a global coalition to be like, no. Mm-hmm. The one weird thing on that is, like, no one from Beijing is coming.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask.
Yep. I don't think anyone from Russia's coming either.
Well, just because Russia's fun.
Yeah. Everybody loved this so much.
What happened to Beijing?
China's government's just, it's a very different situation. There is no...
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, there is no organized dissent against the Olympics in China that we're aware of. I was just in Shanghai, obviously not Beijing, very different city. But you just don't see organized dissent the same way. And that doesn't mean that people don't feel that way, but they had the games in, obviously, 2008. They have them in 2022. They have a Winter Games coming there. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what that means in the process. Like, it's something we're going to have to really consider in the concept of saying no Olympics anywhere. Are we saying no Olympics in democratized countries?
Yeah.
Does that mean it's solely going to be the province of authoritarian countries? Is that something that we want to commit to? Or do we say, hey, we've got to move past this? Or, hey, we've got to roots out, rip this thing apart and rebuild it? Like, I don't know what the answer is.
Do you think that Beijing courted the Olympics for the same reasons that Los Angeles did?
Absolutely. Look at the public building project that is Beijing. Now, they don't need it the way LA needs it to just do basic housing redevelopment. Mm-hmm. But they did it as an excuse to, redevelop big chunks of their downtown. And they have these mammoth architecture projects. And you can see it. So Beijing got the 2008 Olympics, and then Shanghai got the 2010 Expo, which is the equivalent of the World's Fair, which America doesn't care about. They spent as much as like...
I'm shocked the World's Fair still exists.
Countries that get the expo in Asia spend so much money and energy on it. Like some of the exhibitions were like these amazing... Like I just was there. It was like, this is insane. Like they did a full World's Fair basically in Shanghai in 2010. We didn't hear about it, but like 450 million people went.
Yeah, we also don't hear about all their YouTube shit, so...
It's okay.
It's fine.
So anyway,
2-week event.
2 weeks.
Want to nip this in the bud. Doesn't really generate that much economic activity, right?
No, that's tourism is tourism is fool's gold. When you look at regional economic development, another thing I'm studying in grad school. I am. I'm
going to grad school.
So sorry, guys. I am of the opinion. I agree with the philosophy that like what develops a region is its tradable goods. Like if you build like San Francisco's rich as hell because they own the patents on stuff that gets made and then shipped all over the globe. Yeah. You can't solve that problem through
Portland ice cream.
Well, Portland, I mean, A, Portland's got a way smaller economy than San Francisco or Seattle.
Yeah.
But B, it does have Intel and Nike in, like, big ways there. People buy that. Those are what drive the Portland regional economy. And then also, like, bomb ice cream.
I know so many people who work for Nike.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before.
But it's, like, a real thing of, like... And in Seattle, like, Seattle made a devil's bargain and lost because they got Amazon is what's driving their economy right now.
Yeah.
And they did not know what they were doing and they messed up.
They got Satan's own.
Yep. And like Microsoft was less bad than Amazon for that area. Like it was a problem in some ways, but like it was,
but they built in
they built outside the city.
In Redmond.
Well, and that's why Seattle really sold it all out for Amazon. Is they're like, "Oh, you're going to build in the city? Oh, you're going to redevelop our downtown core. Amazing."
Paul Allen involved with that.
Yep. Paul Allen did the redevelopment.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Anyway,
what's the P there?
Profit.
I don't want to shit on Paul Allen too much because he was a good Blazers owner.
But, yeah, great Seahawks owner too.
Yeah, and the initial thing he got rich for did legitimately change the world.
Microsoft Word. He did Word.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, He at least made a product.
Yeah.
And also by the standard of billionaires, like he was civically minded at least.
Yeah, but he did
some stuff. Again, but that's the master planning instinct. That Paul Allen thing that you're referring to of that Vulcan development, that's the master planning thing that the Olympics does. Like that's the same thing of like, oh, if only we could take this swath and smooth it over and do this with it, then, and like that sort of thought, that it's an inorganic way of developing, and it leads to, it is a really dangerous path to go down. There are examples all over the world. Brasilia is like the classic one of a modernist failure on that front, but like, that ain't how it works. I mean, Paris is maybe, I guess, the counter to that because of Houseman, but then now we're back in the weeds. Let's get out of here. Let's do about sports again. Sorry, guys.
Paris.
We're what, almost 2 hours into this.
You're not almost 2 hours.
Hour and 40.
Yeah, it's not almost 2 hours. Okay. Whatever. It's an important topic.
It is. I agree. I agree.
That's why you restructured your life to work about it. Is there any way to do the Olympics so it's not heinous?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know the answer to that. There were workers' games in the between 1920 and 1950. Soviet states would put on
that's fun,
socialist Olympics, and we're actually an Olympics is going to be releasing a video on that in the next week, probably by the time this is out.
Fun.
Called Swolcialism. That's what we're calling that video.
Yeah, all right.
I did not call it that. I've not been involved in the production. I take no responsibility.
Is this some Drosky bullshit?
It's not.
Okay.
I wish it were.
Oh wow.
Okay. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. Sorry, I like Josh. I love Josh.
Yeah.
Josh is my dad. Okay.
Yeah, he's your father.
Yeah.
No, it's whatever. I don't know. I don't like. Can I just want to say
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
Please. So sorry.
Spike, is that okay? Is that okay?
Fine.
Why is it in a city? Why isn't it in a country?
I don't know. Because I don't know. I don't have...
Do you think... Okay, how about this?
Would it be better if it were just in a country? If you just, like, did events?
Yeah, because you would just... Right? Because if you were employing the entire West Coast, you would already have...
Well, that's the World Cup model, I guess. Is more like...
Although it fucked up Brazil pretty bad, the World Cup.
Yeah, but... And again, that's because... The World Cup did not have to fuck up Brazil.
Yeah.
They never had to build a $400 million stadium in the middle of the Amazon.
And that doesn't usually fuck up the World Cup, kind of.
Wasn't great. I mean, yeah, look at the last couple. It's Russia. It's South Africa.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's not... I mean, Germany, it was fine. Like, you can do it where if you have a big soccer league in your country, you just, like, take your 10 best
It's just that they started doing it in countries that didn't already have big soccer.
Well, and in Brazil, they did it in cities that didn't have top-tier soccer. They have a soccer league, and a lot of their venues were in cities that did not have whatever I forget what their Premier League is called, but, like, did not have Premier League caliber soccer teams.
BPL.
Is it I don't know. But, like, it's like, that's crazy. Like, what? They built one in the middle of the Amazon. Like, that's, like...
bad idea.
They could have just used the soccer facilities there.
So,
Also, they, like, killed a lot of people, again. Because they police people around these things. Like, they use them as excuses to do bad things. Like, the problem is, the games themselves are a front for the bad things, not the other way around. The bad things are not a symptom of the games. They're the cause.
Does the IOC feel that way?
Yeah.
Does the IOC see itself as an engine for redevelopment?
I don't know the answer with this current IOC. I don't know, like, Thomas Bach's deal as well as I feel like the last generation. The last generation, the answer would be yes. 100%.
That was,
Salazar?
Oh,
Salmarok.
No. So I was thinking of the FIFA guy. He's still the FIFA
Sepp Blatter?
Yeah, Sepp Blatter.
He's gone.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, they got rid of him. But and by the way, we're getting the World Cup 2 years before the Olympics. And the media center is going to be in LA. So
yeah, wonderful.
And it's going to be spread across Mexico and Canada as well.
Oh.
North American
Wouldn't that
Unity
mitigate the impact, though?
Again, I don't think the World Cup has the same size impact as the Olympics.
Because you just use pre-existing stadiums if you're not a moron.
Yeah, the problem is people use it as an excuse to do the other, to be morons. But, like, morons, but actually what they're doing is, like, make a lot of money for themselves at the expense of their city or populace.
But does the IOC see its... is the IOC willingly a tool of these people? Like...
I think that these people are on the board of the IOC or the USOC. Like, if you look at... So, if you've been to LA, if you've been to the Grove or the Americana, there's a guy, Rick Caruso, who developed that.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful name.
Well, and, if you're aware
He's a monster, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
His was the yacht that Olivia Jade was on when all that shit happened. He's like the president.
You know what? Fucking finally, this conversation gets around to Olivia Jade.
Yeah, and he's the president of USC now or something. Or not the president, he's like the board president. And he's on the USOC. He's on the Olympic bid committee.
I saw...
and he wants to redevelop the city. So the wolf is not in the hen house. It's a wolf house. And they're just partying.
Hey, you know what I mean? Hey, welcome to... I gotta say, Wolf House is an unbelievable name for a nightclub.
Yeah. Oh, baby.
Welcome to the Wolf House!
Yeah.
I'm pulling out my dick!
No. Yeah,
it's the Wolf House!
God, we have to close the Wolf House. We have to close the Wolf House.
Oh, you can't.
But that's the thing. Is like when you say, are they tools? These are rich people. Like they're the people.
The people who run the fucking IOC.
Yeah, the tools are the athletes. Like they're the ones who are being exploited
because they just like rowing.
Yeah, they like rowing, and
nobody else likes rowing,
and like
for the most
love their
part.
country, and like they're very good at it, and they get paid nothing, especially in America.
Yeah,
they get fucked. They get paid nothing. They have to go work at Home Depot after. Like, literally, Home
It's
Depot.
like rowing.
Yeah, and, like, they're the excuse for all this. And then they're the face of, like, when you criticize it, being like, well, what about this sad rower? It's like, well, let's not...
Yeah, fuck. Come on.
But, like, that's, like, the real thing. It's like...
But like, who buys that? Okay.
But, like, when you
But
watch...
even then, we're at a problem with the sports media infrastructure.
Yes, exactly.
Because ESPN, there's no ESPN, NBC, fucking especially
NBC Universal.
NBC Universal.
Universal City is the original LA Live.
Yeah.
All that they own. Universal City is the name of a neighborhood in Los Angeles.
Spike has started putting up pins and threads.
It's all. I mean, like, literally, that's my thesis project: is Pepe Sylvieing the Olympics.
No, but like the sports media can't sucks ass.
Yes.
At seeing outside of sports as a moral construct.
Yes.
Which is to say, if you win, it's good. If you lose, it's bad. Competition is good. Yeah. Shitting the bed is bad.
Yeah. And I want to be clear. The USOC is the organization that was, like, covering up Larry Nasser.
Yeah.
Like, when you, because none of these people are unionized.
Because
they amateur.
And because they don't, if the team is winning, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
If the team loses, then somebody gets in on it and they're like, "What's wrong with the U.S. gymnastics?"
Yeah.
But if the team is winning, they don't give a fuck.
And it's not professional. Like, again,
sorry,
like,
I've been writing about something else. I feel like I've been writing about it for a million years and saying I've been writing about it and then not telling people what it is. And I'm going to continue doing that. But I've been writing about something that where winning and losing and cultural signifiers mean so much more to sports writers than actual human suffering.
Yes.
By a light year.
Yeah.
And that is such a failure of the form.
Yep.
And I'm about to kind of maybe dump a little bit on a specific publication. So,
that's fair.
Like The Athletic,
yeah,
being like, ugh, whatever happened to sports writing, baby? We're bringing all these guys in and we're doing sports writing here. There needs to be something fucking better than sports writing.
Yep.
Because it doesn't have a sense of the broader world at fucking all. And so the people who are covering the Olympics are covering, rinky-dink medal races and shit. Yep. Instead of...
Well, that's what I felt crazy. I mean, like, when I went down to the World Cup, like, I wrote, like, a little bit about that Sao Paulo thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote that. I ended up writing that for The Stranger. Like, where I was just, like, on the side. I was like, do you guys want something on neoliberalism?
Because you don't care for trans people. I know. I'm sorry.
God, both of the publications that I worked for suck about that. Or you worked for in the past.
I worked for?
No, me.
Oh.
It's The Stranger and Grantland. Both had some issues with that.
I don't recall Grantland.
Dr. V?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not great. Not great. Not a great moment in sports journalism.
No.
Or journalism, period. Or just being good people. That's a problem. Putting that aside, like, you parachute in, and, like, at best, like, and there's some counterexamples. Roth's piece on Qatar for the World Cup, he wrote a 4-piece thing.
We're talking about Jeff Roth.
Yep, Jeff Roth. The roast master.
Yeah, Jeff Roth.
Jeff Roth.
No, we're talking about David Roth. Anyway.
He wrote a thing when he was back at SB Nation where he went to Qatar. And it's one of the best sports writing pieces I've ever read in my life. And it's a book.
And you know what? And there's some other people at SB who do really smart work.
Well, and he's obviously not there.
He's not there anymore. But like Spencer Hall will do something where he considers things like that.
And there was some stuff like that at Grantland. Like,
yeah.
Brian wrote some great stuff. Like, a bunch of people wrote great stuff there.
But this is not shit that bleeds into sports writing at all.
And it's also hard to become expert on it. Because the people are, like, I know about sport. Like, again, this is why I left sports writing.
Did you seriously just say sport?
No, I just...
Did you fucking say sport on my fucking podcast? Did you
say
say I know about sport?
No, I didn't mean to. I just swallowed an ass. Calm down. But, like, that's why I left. Like, that's why I'm not doing that. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, is because, like, at a certain point, the expertise required to write about these things is sports expertise. but the expertise you actually need to understand them is different. But nobody who has that expertise.
I don't 100% agree with you on this.
I think
that good journalists can learn about things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I guess I mean to change them at their core. Like when you ask, like, how do you change the Olympics? How do you change housing structures? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think a sports writer is going to be the person to answer that. Maybe like a housing journalist.
I think a sports writer can answer how do you change the Olympics.
Maybe you're right. I was just talking. Okay. I realize I don't. The more important point that I'm making
is... And that sports
like,
writer is Corbin Smith.
Hey, baby, do it.
Yeah.
Fix it.
But like, I actually might end up fucking having to do it now. Thanks a lot, Spike.
Right.
I have to learn about public development. I'm going to have to read The Power Broker.
Oh, yeah. I had to read The Power Broker this year.
I'm going to read that. That's my next read, actually.
It's good.
Yeah, I know. Carl's such a good writer.
I haven't read his new one. I've heard it's good.
It's just like... It does a little bit of like I need a little money.
Oh, really?
Vibe to it. Yeah, it's like interviews and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
But anyway, brilliant.
Okay, I'll check it out from the library.
Whatever. Brilliant writer. He gives a shit.
Not giving him my money.
Yeah.
I don't have money.
Fuck Robert Caro.
Power broke this. Your power broke.
Yeah. He's touching his dick right now.
Yeah, I guess like for me, I'm like, how do you impact this? And like, how do you have an impact in this way?
You know what the other problem is that the companies that don't have the Olympics don't write about it too. Like, because ESPN, they just go, we don't have the Olympics.
Yeah, well, nobody.
So they don't fucking write about it.
And then like,
in the same way they don't really write about hockey.
Yeah, like what media companies exist to write about these things at this point?
Yeah, Popula's a great website, but
okay.
I'm sorry, it's a publicly. You haven't heard of it?
No.
Publicly funded. Oh yeah, you're offline right now.
Yeah.
It's publicly.
It new?
Yeah, publicly funded journalism.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's great. Emily Lever's written there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
She's great. Anyway,
Emily Lever is the kind of person who could write about the Olympics. Like
absolutely. Well, I think writing about them is great, but what ends up happening is people aren't interested in them until they're happening. Yeah. And so you end up writing as a post-mortem. Yeah. How do you get in front of...
Like, wow, this was fucked.
Like, LA 2028 is 9 years away. Yeah. We got plenty of time to get in front of this. That's why I loved Ross' piece on Qatar, because I think it changed the narrative around Qatar, even though it's just a destination at the time. Like, it was so far out in front. And I think that's what we need right now is, like, we need journalism on LA 2028, because that's what could change. Like, that's what could be done better, because it's not in stone yet. Even Paris, like, they're firming it up, and Tokyo's a done deal. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going there, and, like, we're going to build that coalition.
But see some of the games, you know.
Well, we're going there a year before the games. So.
Get some sushi.
I am going to get some sushi.
Are you going to get... Look, if you get some sushi in Tokyo, then it becomes not a revolutionary act. I'm sorry.
Is that true?
No.
I'm going to probably go to Tokyo Disneyland. That's what...
Oh, shit.
It really sucks.
You know what? Pimping ain't easy. Yeah. Like, what are you going to do?
I'm so mad the volcano might be under construction while I'm there.
No, I'm so sorry.
Mount Prometheus at Tokyo Disney Sea.
Uh-huh. Oh, terrible.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're going to Tokyo.
Sports journalists should do better.
Sports journalists should do better, but also it's really hard. Yeah. Like, it's hard, because, like, if you were to write an article at Deadspin right now about LA 2028, like, and they do, like, Redford does. Devorah's done it.
Patrick doesn't live here, does he?
Secto, I believe.
Yeah. No, he lives in the Bay right now. Okay.
Oh, well, Secto is close to the Bay.
Is it?
It's like an hour away. 2 hours? I don't know. NorCal. I'd say NorCal.
He lives in Northern California. Anyway. What wonderful conversation about where does Patrick Redford live.
It's so good. Yeah, now we are actually almost 2 hours into this.
Yeah. Although, Patrick Redford fact, tall.
Really? How tall?
6'3".
Wow. How tall are you?
6'2".
I'm 6'1".
Yeah, eat my shit.
I know, it sucks.
There's a possibility I'm not actually 6'2". I'm pretty sure I'm 6'2".
There's a possibility. I'm definitely over 6 foot.
Uh-huh. Hell yeah.
I've been like 6 foot.
In the dick.
Yeah. That's all that matters. Yeah. But like, I'm like well over it. I'm like comfortably on the other side of it, but like, I don't know if I've ever clocked in at an even 6'1". But I put some shoes on. I'm 6.
I'm 6'1". I'm 6'9", baby.
Yeah. Yep. So, you know.
Spike is clearly 5'10", everybody.
How dare you?
Sorry.
How, sir, get out of my home. Yeah, we're going, it's so funny, like, so we're doing a fundraiser to go.
Okay, yeah. Spike was on here at least in part to
Well, I'm going to plug it a little bit, like noolympicsla.org/Tokyo, I think. We're just raising money because we're bringing tenants with us, like affected tenants by the games, and we're going to pay for like translation and housing on the ground. We're trying to raise like $10,000 to fly like people who are going to be displaced by the Olympics to Tokyo. Like I'm going, but I'm paying for myself because you don't need to pay for my bills.
Yeah.
But
Spike is filthy fucking rich.
check out this 500 square foot apartment.
There's gold everywhere.
Well, I do hoard gold that's shiny.
Yeah.
I don't sell it ever, though. It's my gold.
Yeah, it's your gold.
My gold.
It's your slave in the afterlife.
Jesus. But, like, it's a funny thing, because we're like, oh, man, we're going to ask people for $10,000. It's like, the IOC is going to be there, like, the week that we're there. And, like, how much money are they going to spend to fly, like, Bob Iger out? Again, my beloved Bob Iger, impresario of Disneyland.
Big eggs.
But, like, how much money are they going to spend to, like, fly him out there?
Why are they taking Bob Iger?
He's on the IOC. Oh. No, he's not. No, ESPN has no involvement, but that's...
He's just on the IOC?
He's on the bid committee for LA 2028.
Oh. Do you think he's trying to... have they sold the TV rights to that yet?
Yeah, I think. That's a great question. Yes, because they've pitched Universal as the media center already.
Oh, okay.
So, presumably.
Cool.
But yeah, like, that's what we're up against. We're up against, like, Coke executives, like, royal family members, and Bob Iger. Yeah. And we're like, we need $10,000.
Like Saudi royal family members?
No, more European, more like barons. Various assorted barons. Probably there's a Saudi on there. I don't know. I don't want to know, because they'll kill me.
Look, everything we said about the Olympics is bad, but I love the Saudi Arabian government. I love Saudi Arabia.
But yeah, it is.
Mohammed bin Salman is the leader of the future.
I've seen one of those magazines in the wild.
Which ones?
The one that's like the one that's just like about how great he is.
Oh,
they just have like a glossy magazine that like sometimes is.
Did Thomas Friedman write it?
I don't know. That's a great question. No, I don't.
Another person who should probably write about the fucking Olympics, by the way. But he's
pass.
Pass.
I don't want Tom Friedman's.
Yeah.
Like, these are bad, but actually, bad things are good.
The future.
The Olympics are flat.
He did say that.
Yeah, I know.
You know what else is fine? His fucking dick.
Yep. Sure is. It's like one of those, like, weird worms.
It's actually like a Mobius strip.
It's a ruberous. It's just constantly eating itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us money. To
noolympicsla.com.
I forget if it's .com or .org.
Fucking.
This is. Well, you have my. We're recording on my phone.
On your phone.
You were 2 hours into a podcast on my phone.
That's fair. If it's not noolympicsla.com, I will record another thing at the end.
Or
of this.
at NoOlympics, we're tweeting about it.
Yeah.
And
what's the goal? Are you trying to stop the Olympics?
The goal is in this form. Yeah, okay. We are trying to say because these effects are everywhere, and it's not enough for an individual city to kick it out because it'll end up somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, like we have to consider what it means that potentially that's just going to be like falling into a basin of autocracy.
Beijing over and over.
But like we have to nonetheless like that's something we have to confront. But like that doesn't change our demand.
Yeah.
Which is to say this is untenable. And also, global eco-socialism. Why not? Let's do it. Baby.
All right.
Let me just put in a plug.
Mohammed bin Salman is the true leader of the world. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
What's the last plug for?
Oh, just...
global eco-socialism?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
You allowed?
If you're into it.
Yeah, kind of. Climate change is real, probably.
Do you worry the Green New Deal will displace people?
I'm like, how?
How? Would the Green New Deal displace people?
Yeah.
You have to build trains.
Oh, transit infrastructure displacement's like a real thing. Yeah, ideally... I thought you were... Well, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, we need socialized housing. Like, everything is going to displace people until we figure out a way to...
Not displace people.
To create genuinely, permanently affordable housing. So that's a plug for community land trusts. Just bringing back, just paying people who are poor.
Credit unions.
credit? Sure, why not?
I don't know. Whatever.
The real thing is the socialized housing would be good. Need some more of that.
Well, all right, we're done.
All right.
Thanks for listening. You can rate and review this podcast on iTunes.
2 hours.
Maybe rate and review other episodes. Short? No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. That was a joke.
Wow.
I was so happy to have Spike to talk about this.
Wow.
Because I'm a smart person, and thank you for talking to me about this, Spike.
No, it's great. Thank you for having me. Like,
sports.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, sports media. If you're a sports media person who's listening to this, maybe try to write about this. Anyway, thank you for listening. Rate and review this podcast on iTunes, patreon.com/take it or break it. No Olympics LA on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an Instagram?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Mara
Mara Wilson did one of our videos for this.
Oh, wonderful.
Thing. Yeah.
Send a little money their way if any of this has moved you in that direction. If you're a sports writer, fucking write about it.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day.